Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Sergeant Eric Grip. I'm the Public Information Officer for the Philadelphia Police Department. We're out here on the 7300 block of Rising Sun Avenue to talk about a mass shooting which happened shortly before 3 o'clock, 2:59. We're going to hear today from our Mayor, Sherelle Parker. It's going to be followed by the Superintendent of the School District of Philadelphia, Dr. Watlington. We're going to hear from our Police Commissioner, Kevin Bethel, Chief of SEPTA Police, Chief Lawson. Then we're going to hear from our District Attorney, Larry Krasner. I just ask that you hold all of your questions until the end, until our last speaker is gone. Madam Mayor.
Good evening, Philadelphia. Over the past 2 days, we have seen 11 juveniles shot. Over the past few days, we have seen these senseless acts of gun violence occur in and around schools and public transportation, mass transit sector. The purpose of our being here on today is to inform you all that enough is enough, that every law enforcement partner that we have here in the city of Philadelphia is actively engaged and working together to ensure that every resource that is needed is readily available so that the work can be done to solve the crimes. Now, this is what's extremely important to me as mayor of.
Before we continue on with this video, I want to express my condolences, or at the very least my sympathies. And I know sympathies don't go a long ways in a lot of situations, but I send my compassion and I send up my prayers for the parents, for those children, and for that community on their behalf, because these crimes are becoming more rapid and more brazen because criminals feel empowered because of the lax laws that have been put in place over the last 3 years. And it's just a sad situation. Not a hopeless situation, but it is a sad situation. And before I continue on, my name is Darius. Welcome to Real Talk with Darius. And the goal of this channel is definitely to make a positive impact in the world, in my little small corner, to share ideas with like-minded individuals, as well as hopefully also talk and listen to your ideas on what's just better in life. I want to talk about real life issues, including religion and politics. Why? Because those factors, those topics, they actually impact us every day, as we do see here. And so again, I send my prayers up to my King, my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, on behalf of these children, their parents, and the community, and the law enforcement, including the law enforcement, as they deal with this tragic situation. So I don't know if any kids have lost their lives. I've heard that 1 or 2 is in critical condition, but this is horrendous. Remember to. Part of me hate to say what I'm about to say in this regard, because I'm not just aiming for this, but this is a part of what I'm doing, is please make sure to hit the subscribe button, like, share your comments, share your thoughts below, what you think is going on, not only in this situation, but around the country. And share this video with someone else you love and care about if you value the information presented today.
This city, that the people of this city know that we will not be held hostage, that we will use every legal tool in the toolbox to ensure the public health and safety of the people of our city. We know that we have to ensure that we have access to economic opportunities, quality public education, year-round opportunities, out-of-school time opportunities, and we're going to work on that. This simply further strengthens our resolve to get this done, but we are going to ensure that every partner that we have, every resource that we need to solve this crime, to ensure that those who are responsible are held accountable, we're going to make sure that we do that. But I want Philadelphians to know that on our streets, and you're going to hear from our police commissioner, he will give you details about the Philadelphia Police Department's role. But you need to know that we are going to do everything that we can to ensure your public health and safety. And we don't apologize for using every legal and constitutional tool in our tool belts in order to get that done. Today, you're going to notice when I say partners, I'm referring to our school district of Philadelphia. I'm referring to our police department. The ATF is here. SEPTA is here. Our Office of Emergency Management, our managing director, our public safety director, and our district attorney. Everyone is here tonight. This further strengthens our resolve and the need and the sense of urgency regarding why we have to work together to ensure, one, that anyone held accountable, we make sure we let you know that we have worked together in a unified way to ensure that that is what occurs. But we want no one in the city of Philadelphia concerned about whether or not they can come out and go to the store, go to the supermarket. We don't want you feeling captive in your homes. And our police commissioner is going to talk to you about what our public safety actions formally will be as a result of this all. Thank you so very much.
Now, one of the things I want to bring to your attention is this. There's several things I want to bring to your attention quickly. Here's one. The commission, the mayor, she's black. I don't know her political persuasion. I didn't look into that. Right now, that doesn't matter. I agree with everything she just said. She spoke of being unified and not divided. In other words, she didn't say this crime was a bunch of black kids who were killed or shot. Again, I'm not trying to put words out there so that if they're not accurate. But this heinous crime. Now, I am going to point this out, but she didn't say this was a black effort or a white effort and how messed up the system is, even though there are systematic issues. More than the system itself, it's the people in it. No, she's talking about establishing and building on a unified front, something we hardly ever hear from our so-called most of our politicians in today's world. I want you also to notice in the video that there are black, white, brown, yellow, pink, whatever other colors you want to call them, because I understand there's some people who are very literal, and so you want to call people peach, pink, brown, black, whatever. I want you to notice that you don't see Al Sharpton here giving this speech. You don't see Attorney Benjamin Crump, so some civil rights attorney, whatever. He always shows up in these events, not when it's black on black crime. And this is what I believe this situation to be, being in Philadelphia, which has a large population of blacks there. I don't know the percentage of it, but large black population. This is how you can tell. If you read the headline, you don't read the skin color mentioned by the victims, related to the victims or the perpetrators. Now, obviously, they have not caught, at least at the time of this video, have not caught up with the perpetrators yet. But I'm willing to believe in certain areas, especially when the media does not mention skin color, that this is a black on black crime issue. And while there are a number of people out there who seem to dismiss it, or at least not give it the light of day, they give this the racial injustice that goes on. This is very important. It's one thing for people on the outside. Let's use this way, talk about it this way. It's one thing for people on the outside of our outside of the black community, brown community, however you identify yourself, a dark skinned community. It's one thing for someone on the outside to try to take us out. Isn't it a whole different thing when we try to when we do take each other out? I'm tired of this Million Man March. We black folks need to stick together conversation when on a day-to-day basis, we as a community do not do that as well. See if I edit that out. Excuse me. But we do not do that like we should. We don't hold each other accountable like we should. And some people feel some way about having these types of conversations, and it's irresponsible for us not to. This situation is getting worse. I mean, you see across the country, Excuse me. Like I said, I may go and edit that out. But we see in these situations across the country, at least in Democratic run cities, who do you see mostly robbing stores? Black people, children, teenagers, middle aged. They call that reparations. Two wrongs never make a right. And I hope people really get that. So let's go and continue with this video. Oh, let me mention this right quick. Where are the Democrats at? The so-called lawmakers. Where are the LeBron Jameses and other celebrities who came out speaking on the Black Lives Matter issues? Where are the what are Black Lives Matters activists at? Nowhere to be found. See, this here is a result also, I believe, of the defund the police movement, because after all police officers are truly the criminals, not the criminals who walk around illegally with guns causing havoc in communities. Now, not the ones that you can't necessarily identify by their uniforms, but by their skin color. No, it's not them. The criminals are really not the criminals. The cops are. So I tell you what, for those who may view this video and criticize the content of it, just be sure, don't you call any cops if anything happens in your neighborhood. Don't get mad at them. Don't get mad at the lawmakers, because, hey, you support those types of poor decision making. So if that's what you stand for, then you go and you live by that in your home or your little area. But for those of you out there who believe in justice, who believe in law and order, in the right place, help support your community, help support the police officers that are good. I don't like being stereotyped as a black man for the success that I have or will have. I'm sure none of you want to be stereotyped either because of the skin color you have or because of your gender as a man or woman. So let's be honest. And that's one thing we also in this country is lacking, is a lot of honesty and transparency. People look at black and call it white. People call white black. People call wrong right and right wrong. There's a great crisis going on in this country or at higher levels. Matter of fact, excuse me, I'm sorry, y'all. I didn't know this was going to happen. Maybe this mess is so important, I'm being a challenge. But anyway, there's a lot of crisis going on because there's in my view, okay, you don't have to believe it, but I do, because there's a lack of Christ in this crisis. We need some actionable principles that we live by. All of us. I don't care what your skin color is. I don't care what class you're in. I don't care what city you're in. We need to live by some principles that actually empower every community. Okay. Y'all want to talk about equality? Okay. Let's stop dividing and conquering ourselves. Now let's truly become unified with truth. Okay. Not your truth, not their truth, not my truth, but the truth.
We're now going to hear from our school superintendent, Washington.
Thank you, Mayor. On behalf of all of our children and families in the school district, we are just absolutely heartbroken and angry that innocent children walking home from school would be impacted by gun violence. And we agree with the mayor, enough is enough. Our parents and students are working so hard in the school district of Philadelphia to improve outcomes. And just so happy that the mayor and the team is here together to stand in unison. Certainly, we were.
Let me add this thing. Y'all keep hearing this narrative about gun violence. I don't know about you, but I have yet to see guns flying around attacking people. No, it is evil people, irresponsible people using guns. And guess what? If it wasn't guns, I guarantee it'd be something else. So let's stop playing games. Let's stop letting our intelligence be insulted with this narrative. Guns aren't violent. Misuse of those guns, abuse of those guns. That's where the violence occurs.
Have trained crisis professionals at the Northeast High School tomorrow to provide support to our students and families as they process this horrific, unconscionable act of violence. Again, we're going to do everything to work with the mayor, under the mayor's leadership, with Commissioner Bethel, and all the partners here in the city, because we absolutely are committed to improving outcomes for our young people and make sure that they're safe, and that when parents send their children to school, they can expect them to return safely to them. And so, thank you, Mayor. We look forward to working in partnership.
Police Commissioner.
So, so, so today at 3 p.m., around 3 p.m., in the 7200 Rising Sun Avenue, we have juveniles or students from Northeast High School who are waiting for the bus across the street. We see, based on the video evidence we have so far, we see a car that's parked along the side of the store, of the Dunkin' Donuts. At some point when the bus is pulling up and the kids are converging to get on the bus, 3 individuals exit that vehicle and then and discharges multiple times, at least over 30 times they fire into the kids that are getting onto the bus. As a result of that gunfire, we now have 8 students who have been shot, ranging in the age from 15 to 17 years of age. One of the kids is in critical condition. He was shot multiple times. This is an ongoing and active investigation. I echo the words of the mayor. It is hard to sit here and see in 3 days that I have 11 juveniles shot who are going and coming from school. The cowardly acts that we've seen over the last 3 days are unacceptable. The fact that we have this situation where I've talked about it multiple times. The downstream impacts, and we do not address gun violence, and we do not address guns, is what we see today. And we are going to take press hard each and every day to deal with this issue as the mayor outlined. As a result of what we've seen over the last 3 days, we're going to be ramping up our resources significantly. I want parents and families to know that we're going to be along our corridors across the entire city of Philadelphia until we can figure out exactly what's going on in this situation, whether it's linked to the situation on Monday, or what do we need to do more moving forward. We'll be working with Chief Lawson in that effort, but we will do everything in our power to bring those individuals who are responsible for this shooting today, as well as Monday, and any of the shootings that we have, to justice. But we cannot ignore what we're seeing over the last 3 days. I will not sit here and people call me and tell me what I should or should not be doing. This is what we see when we give guns in the hands of juveniles and what they do with them. Telling kids that they should not carry guns because they're scared. Really? This is an end result of what we see. So we are going to work hard, and we're going to continue with the men and women behind me and my team to get these guns off the street and stop this from happening. I'm passing now over to, I think it's
Lawson.
Yes. I share those same sentiments. Once again, I do want to state this once again, and I know it's an unpopular to say this, but I do not care. I'm a man seeking truth, not in the interest of feelings. Guns aren't the problem. Evil people with evil intentions or simply irresponsible intentions are causing this harm. And if it wasn't guns, it'd be knives. If it wasn't knives, it'd be something else. People have used cars, airplanes, drugs, bullying. It's a number of issues. So guns are not the only weapons of choice for criminals. This is what they want you to hear. They want you to say, okay, we need to disarm people. And you know who they disarm? They disarm law-abiding citizens. There are millions and millions of people in this country who have guns, who have never used them for the intention and purpose of causing some type of crime. You don't want to hear it. They would not put this, and when I say they, I'm talking about the media and those their handlers, would not put this on television, and like they should, showing that disproportionate to those who own guns that are on the record, that most of these crimes are not happening by those law-abiding citizens. It's by irresponsible people who have irresponsible or evil intentions. So don't be caught up in that. But also, notice once again, since you're not hearing the skin color, you might as well, I hate using the word assume, but you must assume these are black people, on both sides, black perpetrators and black victims going to school. Don't we talk about educating our community? Again, this message is for all communities here, okay? I'm not just putting this out there for the black community, but I am definitely speaking to the black community. We need to hold each other accountable. There's a lack of strong fatherly figures and now strong motherly figures. Our grandparents, great-grandparents, many of them are no longer around, or there's just a great void. And I believe that was intentional. I have some information on that. I may share in another video about that. But the point is, these things are happening. These crimes are happening because there's a lack of ethical morality. There's a lack of personal accountability. There's a lack of true leadership. I didn't say there are no true leaders. I'm saying there's a lack of it.
Evening, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously, I had a larger press release earlier today. I will let those comments stand on their own. But much of what I said stands, and you're seeing the effort of that now. We talked about strong partnerships in this city. We talked about the things that we're going to do together, and you're seeing that right now. Our attention at this time turning to how we can effectively police school dismissal, the influx of school kids for the remainder of this week, and we're working closely with Commissioner Bethel's staff to be able to do that. That's all I have at this time.
This is an uncomfortable time, y'all. It's uncomfortable. Obviously.
Obviously, this is a horrifying event. I want you to imagine for a moment a parent receiving a call saying your child is in the hospital. Your child's been shot. We don't know the condition. I want you to imagine a parent waiting for their child to come home from school. And that parent hears that something happened at the bus stop where this child is going to wait. This does not just kill and harm the people who were struck with the bullets. This is a devastating, disabling, horrifying event for every child who is out here, every child who goes to that school, every parent whose child goes to that school, every person who rides public transit. And a city lives by its schools and it lives by its public transit. I want you to know that we are all here united. We are all here together. We have been and will continue to be working together vigorously. I know that with the help of the Philadelphia Police Department's excellent detectives, with the help of ATF, with the available help of FBI, with the help of the Gun Violence Task Force in my office, we will catch the people who did this. We will hold those people in custody. We will charge them and we will vigorously prosecute them and we will give them the consequences that they absolutely deserve for this devastating and horrifying act.
I agree.
Commissioner, can you just talk to what parents maybe, I mean, obviously parents, and you have worked in the school district before, but
Because these type of situations, what they do is drum up fear. Okay? When a society is full of fear, there are some people, there are some groups who thrive off of this. Have you ever noticed that you don't see hardly any media coverage of lives being protected and spared from heinous crimes? You don't really see a whole lot of it. We see a lot of this. We hear about a lot of this. What about the good news? It's because in this world, good news does not sell. It's not dramatic. It's not suspenseful. It's not horrific. It gives positive energy. It brings encouragement. It brings courage, excuse me. Why don't we talk about that? That's one of the reasons, in my view, why we don't see a lot of it at least see it on the news and things of that nature, because it doesn't generate a lot of revenue, unfortunately.
parents are obviously not only frightened, but some of them may also be not thinking my kid couldn't possibly be involved in this. What would your advice be to parents or families now that we have so many kids shot in so many days?
You talking what parent? You talking about parents or
Both sides.
Well, I mean, there's two sides, and that's been described here. I mean, the reality, the trauma that inflicted on our young children today who have been shot in the school community is significant. You know, this has been a continuation of the violence that we saw last year at our schools, and we thought, we had worked diligently and worked hard with the school district at the time I was there, and even now with Chief Craig Johnson to really work in those areas, and we thought that. So it is very traumatic for families today. I've said this before. I'm a graduate of John Bartram High School. Going to high school was the safest place I could ever imagine going. I never, ever thought that anyone would shoot me walking to school or kill me at the doorstep of a school, or let alone getting on the bus 2 blocks down. So those parents and those children, yeah, it's very traumatic. And I know the school district and Dr. Wallinson will be deploying their teams to be able to deal with those issues as they always do. For the shooters, I mean, they come from their parents need to get engaged. We said this multiple times.
Right.
As every parent today, go in those rooms and look under those tables and look under those in those closets and get those guns out of the house. Right? Because at the end of the day, many of these kids are coming from the same communities that they're shooting in.
Right.
Right? And they know who they are. And the community knows who they are.
Right.
We can't do this by ourselves. Like, we need the community, we need parents to get engaged.
Are y'all listening? The law enforcement is asking for parents or guardians to do their jobs. Don't be saying that you know, I don't want to get in all of my kids' business, or you trying to be friends with your children. No, that's not the time. There's a time to be friendly with your children, but you got to be the authoritarian, not dictator, but authoritarian. You got to have some rules and regulations, some boundaries in place. That's one of the reasons this stuff is happening big time. It's because the restrictions, the restraints are being removed. There's a goal for that too, by the way. I promise you. Somebody has an agenda to shut this stuff down once things get to a level they want to get it to. But again, that's probably for another video. The officers is asking for assistance from members of the community, the parents of these children. It's one thing, you got gangs and all that kind of stuff going on. Those who are outside the house, but those of you who still have a family structure, 1 or 2 parent homes. And it's a sad thing, is a 1-parent home, by the way. But again, that's another conversation. You need to step up. Christians need to stop just praying and become more active. And those who don't believe in God, you know, teach his own. But for those who need to hear this, get some help from God. Pray and be active. Okay?
And engage in what their young people are doing. They're looking at drill rap. They're looking at TV. They're doing all these things and on putting themselves on social media and then getting fired up and engaged and then come out here and shoot. Small beefs on social media. You said something wrong. You looked at me wrong. And now we're having young people out here taking them in their hands and putting guns in their hands and killing people. Yesterday, we had a gun with a trigger on it, trigger mechanism on it. Fully automatic. I mean, able to fire multiple rounds in seconds. That's not acceptable.
Mayor, can I ask you?
Like you are going to wonder, do I send my kid to school? They're going to be scared. They're going to say, let me just let him learn virally because I'm afraid to throw him at a bus stop. What kind of message do you have for those moms like yourself with a kid?
Relative to the scheduling, I'm going to ask our superintendent.
The reason I put my head down like that is because sometimes the media asks some of the most obvious and yet dumb questions. They want to feed into the fear stuff. That's their job. They want to be as dramatic and suspenseful, get their questions out there for their newspapers or for their media organizations. I get it. That's a part of the business. But they are they are really a part of the problem.
To address the scheduling portion.
Absolutely. We know that kids learn more. If we didn't learn anything else from the pandemic, is that kids, most of them, learn more with in-person instruction than in remote learning. So it's so important that we work together to win this war on gun violence so that kids can be in school.
But a lot of moms and dads are going to be like, they're not going to learn anything when they're shot in the hospital or they're dead.
Absolutely. We're going to be very sympathetic. We're
Now,
going to be very understanding.
Then I tell you what, media, why don't you go and roam the streets with no protections? Go to these little neighborhoods, because some of these places are telltale signs for criminal activity. So why don't you media outlets go and start doing some serious reporting and see if you can get ahead in some things and see if you can find out why criminals are criminals. Where are they stakeouts? Their stakeouts. Why do they do what they do? Why don't you go and find out and see why did they grow up in a rough neighborhood, a rough home, lacking a father or a mother? Why don't you go ahead and ask them some questions? Okay, go out and start helping the police by, instead of showing up after something has happened, see if you can get ahead of some things. See if you can see crimes in development. I mean, go do some stakeouts. Yeah. Some of y'all don't want to do that though, huh? Is it too dangerous, or does it not feed into the narrative, or is it your job to wait till after things happen in order for you to have for you to report on it? I don't know. But why don't you also become a part of the solution instead of being part of the problem?
Parents' position, and the father of 3 young men, myself, who are in public schools, and to the extent possible, we want students to be in school and to be safe.
Let me just go back to your question, particularly as it relates to the two schools in question, Northeast School and Imhotep. Parents of children who attend those schools should get specific. They will get specific instructions from them on exactly what the operating procedure will be at both of those locations. But as it relates to going to school and going to work tomorrow, I have the full confidence of our police commissioner and every partner that you heard me reference here today, that we are working together to ensure that your travel to and fro, whether or not that's school, that's to work, to the doctor's office, to the supermarket, we're going to be doing everything that we possibly can together, is the key to ensure the safety of our streets and our very valuable partner with SEPTA. It's extremely important that they be front and center here with us on today, because this is very much a collaborative approach.
Mayor, I just want to ask you about, you said everything under the law, or everything you're going to use to combat this. Stop and frisk. Is that something that you want to?
Is this the moment? Is this the moment in time?
Get him.
To talk about?
Get him.
No, I was.
Literally, is this the moment?
Get him.
Like, we're talking about the work we need to do to deal with the issues we have. We have 11 children shot today. This is not about stop and frisk. This is not about that right now. This
Get
is
him.
what we're going to do as a city to address the violence that we're seeing now. I'm not cutting you off.
No, I get it. I was just responding to her
That's the
comments.
reality. So we want to end it here. I think it's time for us that we have work to do. We have a lot of work to do. We got to get back and deal with these kids that we have to deal with, and our team will be following up with you. Thank you, everyone. We appreciate all of you coming out.
This brand new mini.
I applaud that officer. I think he's the chief. Forgive me, but I applaud him. I told you, the media is a part of the problem. And stop and frisk really is basically about cops pulling over black folks. That's really what that's about. It started in, I won't say it started, but I know it happened a lot in New York. So the stop and frisk, and I know laws did not bode well for black people. Just gonna call it what it is or what it was. And so it definitely was used as a racial ploy to identify or divide. Again, this is a divide conquer mentality. Again, I know there's a lot of truth. Like I said, I have experienced racism in my professional career, and I'm not a victim, but I have experienced it. So what I'm saying is, I know it's a reality. However, it's not as bad as the media make it out to be. So I applaud that officer. But when I was listening to the mayor, this is what I was hearing her say. Number one, we're going to we are building a unified front. And number two, we want the people not to feed into the fear. Stop feeding into the fear. Now, be cautious. For those of you who are able, arm yourselves. It makes no sense that these stupid politicians are getting out here criminalizing law-abiding citizens, talking about taking away their weapons, while at the same time basically protecting the rights for criminals to hold on to theirs. They know criminals are not going to turn their weapons in. They know criminals do not give a care about gun reform. These stupid laws actually embolden and empower criminals to spread their networks. That's exactly what happens. Because if a good man cannot protect his home, he and his family become a victim. I want you to think about this big picture, because there's a big picture of this entire scenario that's going on around the country. There's big pictures. There's a lot of things that go unreported. Keep that in mind too. Please drop your thoughts in the comments, whether you agree or disagree. Drop your comments. Tell me, give me what are some ideas you would have for the mayor, especially those of you who may live in that area, or you can identify with the types of crimes going on here in Philadelphia. Drop your comments down in the comments section. Drop a like, share, subscribe to the channel. Share this video with somebody else if you believe this has impacted your life. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you next time. Oh, one more thing. I love you, each and every one of you. And that's not a cliche, and that's not empty word. Those are not empty words. I love you because you are part of the human race. God bless you.